I'm back. Yes, I'm back and I ain't going nowhere this time. Okay? I just had to take a little break to focus on my personal affairs. But baby, I'm back and I'm going to give you a whole lot. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. This is your girl making a little cool coming to you straight out of NYC on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Yes, I have to play that racist clip again. I'm happy to be making videos again. I just had to take a break, deal with certain things for myself. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to give a lot of videos starting today into next week. A lot of stuff has happened. Certain things are going to be a little bit, maybe a week or two old, but most of it's going to be current. But there's one story that nobody has been talking about that I happened upon. And it has to do with a former Cosby actor who is working at Trader Joe's. Yes, the actor, a lot of people may not be familiar with his name. His name is Geoffrey Owens. But you probably are familiar with him. He played the character of Alvin. He played Alvin Thibodeau on The Cosby Show between 1985 and 1992. And Alvin Thibodeau was the guy who played the doctor who eventually married Sandra Huxtable, who was the attorney. And they had the twins, Winnie and Nelson. And, I always felt that his role, I'm not going to lie, they kind of made him out to be sort of like a token. In other words, like a punching bag on the show. Whereas the writers didn't want to do that to Theo because he was like the only young male and his character was based on his son. And, Cosby wasn't going to allow that to happen. So it was like they made him out to be a token, so to speak. But he played the role. He was a good actor, and even when the show went off, he had a couple of roles in between, but he never got to star on a sitcom. And I always felt that if anybody should have been given that chance to be on a top sitcom after The Cosby Show, I really thought that Geoffrey Owens deserved it because he was really good as being a comedic actor. And for a lot of people who don't know this, he is the son of Major Owens, who was a congressman that represented Flatbush, Brooklyn, from 1982 to 2006. And he was a very good congressman. And my aunt personally knew his father. Very, very nice man. A very, very nice man. But that's here nor there. But this article was written by the Daily Mail. And it's very interesting how the story broke. And it says, The Cosby Show star Geoffrey Owens is spotted working as a cashier at Trader Joe's in New Jersey. So it says the actor who played Alvin in The Cosby Show is now working as a cashier at Trader Joe's, photos reveal. A shopper spotted Geoffrey Owens, 57 years old, behind a till at the store in Clifton, New Jersey, where staff earn around $11 an hour. Wearing an ID badge bearing his name, the former star wore a Trader Joe's t-shirt with stain marks on the front as he weighed a bag of potatoes. And the stain is really visible. It says, Karma Lawrence, 50, was grocery shopping with her wife, security manager Yanelle, 40, when she saw Owens at around 7:30 p.m. on Saturday and snapped some photos. The medical secretary from Clifton said, I was just in Trader Joe's and I said to my wife, wait a minute, that's the guy from The Cosby Show. She looked at him and said, it looks like him. He's a little heavier. I pulled up a site on the internet to look at a picture of him and said, that is him. I have never seen him at Trader Joe's before. I was getting a bunch of groceries and he wasn't really looking at anybody, but he said, have a nice day. Owens played Alvin Thibodeau, the husband of Sandra Huxtable, on the final 5 seasons of NBC sitcom The Cosby Show between 1985 and 1992. The show's main character, Cliff Huxtable, was played by they gotta go into the disgrace thing. I'm not gonna even go into that, but I may say it. It was played by a disgraced actor, Bill Cosby, who was a convicted sex offender after being accused of abuse by over 60 women. You see how the media gotta plug that in? But I'm going to get to that because it's very important part of the story, believe it or not. Owens went on to appear in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and That's So Raven, and most recently starred in an episode of the show Lucifer in 2017. Lawrence added, I used to watch The Cosby Show all the time. It was my favorite show. It was definitely him. I would have thought at the Cosby Show he would maybe do something different. It was a shock to see him working there and looking the way he did. It made me feel really bad. I was like, wow, all those years of doing the show and you ended up as a cashier? Other fans would be surprised for sure as well. So they show a picture of not just Geoffrey Owens. They also show a picture of the couple. And they are a lesbian couple, and they are a married lesbian couple. Now, one of them took the photo. We don't know if it was Yanel that took the photo or Karma. But I got a lot to say about this. And this is where I'm going to go. Number one, it is not uncommon for actors to work menial jobs once a show goes off. It's not uncommon. But most of the time, the actors that do it weren't the star of the show. They have a recurring role or they may have a bit parts. Most of the time, it's actors that do guest starring roles. And they're working in between a play or a sitcom. If an actor can get a campaign in a commercial, that actor can make sometimes $75K. That alone could last them for a year or maybe a half a year if they have kids and they handle their finances. If they can get 2 campaigns for a commercial for a year, they're pretty much lit. But still, nobody wants to rest on that. So they want to work and go on auditions to stay active. But it's nothing wrong with working outside of your craft. People got to pay bills. However, I'm going to go into this. New Jersey does not pay as well as New York. Even though New Jersey is right across the water from us, their minimum wage has always been low. When our minimum wage went up to $9, they were still on that $6 and change. Okay? And we're talking about like 2015. When we went up to $11 in 2016, they had just caught up to about, I believe, $8. We're now $13. The end of this year, we're going to be at $15. I don't know what Jersey's doing. But Trader Joe's in New York, they make $15 an hour. So for them to make $11 an hour, that tells you about New Jersey's minimum wage. Second of all, I wish he didn't have that dirty shirt on, but more than likely he probably was working in stock or another department before he got to the register, because a lot of times in retail you got to fill in certain areas. That's just the way it is. Now, third, I see a lot of famous people in New York. I would never take their photo, especially without their consent, and especially when they're not in the place where they really want to be. That was very rude of that couple to take his photo. That was rude. And you know they got paid by the Daily Mail. And the Daily Mail, they do pay you good. But still, it's like, why would you do that shit? Like, why? I mean, okay, fine. Talk to the brother. Ask him how he's doing. Ask him, hey, you got any upcoming projects? You could have even asked him, why are you in Trader Joe's? But don't ask him, what he's doing. Don't take his photo without his consent, because you violating his privacy. And his privacy was violated. And now because of that, he's more than likely not going to stay with the company. The company knew that he was Elvin to the bow on the Cosby Show. They knew that, okay? And that's probably why they could have hired him, because they probably was like, oh, so you worked on the show consistently for 7 years. Okay, you did good on this show. Fine. We're going to put you here. We're going to have you work at Trader Joe's, and you're going to be okay. Now, I'm going to go into the real crux of this as to why he's working at Trader Joe's. And it does have to do with the Cosby scandal and the injustice and the lynching of Bill Cosby, because that's what it was called. That's what I call it. Number one, when the whole trial was occurring, and even before that, a lot of shows that carried the Cosby Show in syndication dropped the show altogether. They dropped it. The only one that didn't was TV One. Because of that, it affected their residual income coming in. They received those checks at least 3 times a year. That checks is what keeps them afloat. Without those checks, and they're not working steadily in the industry, they can't survive. So that's why he is in Trader Joe's, okay? Those residual checks were cut, okay? Those residual checks were cut. That's why. And it was all because of this Bill Cosby situation that I will always say the trial shouldn't have happened, okay? And I'm going to go even deeper and say that I am going to tell you about the link between this whole thing and the scandals with Ozzy Argento. I purposely spoke about this first because I'm going to make this go. It's going to be a circular because this situation with Bill Cosby should not have happened. And it was all because of a cover-up against the pedophilia claims in Hollywood. Because the first scandal that happened 2 weeks prior was Stephen Collins admitting that he was a pedophile. Okay? But yet and still, they never dropped their money. They never dropped Seven Heaven, but they dropped the Cosby Show. And Bill Cosby wasn't even being accused of being a pedophile. But you see what happens? And skin color has a lot to do with it. Now you got this man here, can't even have the privacy of working on a minimum wage job, okay? And he shouldn't be there. If he's going to work in a job as a non-actor, he should have at least picked a job as a teacher, okay? As a teacher, a paraprofessional, working with kids. Hell, he should have worked in a damn hospital. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, he played a doctor on a Cosby Show. He should have worked in a hospital. But this is what I'm saying, that this Me Too movement, I'm loving how it's crumbling. Okay, I love the fact to see it crumble the way it is because it wasn't built it wasn't genuinely built. You understand? So as far as Geoffrey Owens, keep your head up. If you don't feel comfortable with working at Trader Joe's, there's always other jobs. But I would look into working in a hospital, working as a teacher. Being a teacher would have been perfect for you because you could work as an actor during the summertime and during the holidays. But I do think that this is a little bit beneath him, being on the show that he was on and the fact that he wasn't able to keep his privacy. And with that being said, this is your girl, Miss Analytical, signing off. Thank you for listening to this audio. I'm coming back with a couple of more today. I got to head out to work, though, and make this money. But talk to you later.